We're live
We're live?
in Australia.
Live in Australia. Hold on, I'm just want to mute.
Here we go.
Hello, everyone.
Do you know what kind of flight that was getting from the US to Australia in like an hour? That was ridiculous.
So who we got in here?
Tank. I see Tank.
Tank. Who's Tank?
Sernok.
Oh, Sernok. Oh, I love Sernok. He's been so good to me.
I know.
He's been really, really helpful to me. So yeah, I'm stoked that he's here. And I think that's Dwayne in as well, is it?
You remember him from the auction, right?
Yep. And a
couple of pervs.
Yes. So we got Lisa and Rob and Jazzy and Chris and
it almost looks like my chat.
I don't know. I'm not going to be able to keep up with this.
That's all right. I'll try and help. I wish they would give it it drives me nuts because I do most of the hosting, as you see with Tracy and I, and so I'm used to doing it, and she's not. So I'm sitting over here trying to click on stuff the whole time, and I can't. It drives me nuts. And I wish.
Ron does the same when we're in our chat. She sits there and she's like reading out things, and I can't even find them. Like I'm so slow on it, and I can't seem to get the whole grasp of talking and doing the chat.
And I want to thank Ken Daigle for this hat. He sent it to me. This fancy polo hat.
Polo's your favorite, isn't it?
Yeah, one of them.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah, pretty much.
Right. So I just want to say, if there's anyone in here that doesn't know me, my name is Mel, and I'm a full-time eBay seller in Australia. And this is my friend Tommy, and he is a full-time reseller, I guess.
You would say that. I used to be.
Reseller? What? You still are.
I can't work full-time. It's a dumpster find.
Reseller, yeah. And maybe full-time YouTuber.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I know, right?
You're always, it doesn't matter what time of the day I come in to YouTube, you're there in a chat.
Mm-hmm. It's like my sanity, I think, while working. Like I used to watch Netflix or TV or something. Now it's, at least you learn something, maybe, there's a possibility you might learn something in a chat. So
do you feel like it's keeping you social as well? Makes you like having like a real conversation with someone rather than just watching Netflix, which is just, all made up? Or
no, I think it makes me hate people more. No, I'm just joking to an extent. Some of that is true though, because you do find out about a lot of people, a lot of stuff about people, and you see them. You think they're one way, and then after a few months of seeing them every day in a chat, you learn and learn and learn and learn and learn. You learn a lot about people, and I'm sure they say the same about me. So it's like,
And you've met a lot of people, haven't you? You've kind of introduced this community to. I think it was your channel really that's kind of brought the Americans and the UK and everyone's kind of come together, and I think that's probably thanks to your channel.
Well, I think recently, yes, but Nick and Andrea Hills really started it. At least that I know of. There could have been people before them, and if there is, I'm sorry, I don't know who you are. But I saw them. They brought one of my good friends over, Lonnie, Garage Shed, and Shed Flips, right? Yeah, that's right. And then they're also friends with a really big channel here called Resale Killers, Steve and Steph. They have like 300,000 subscribers. And so Nick and Andrea and those guys, they would have Lonnie on for a chat, and Lonnie would have them on. They would have Steve and Steph on for like a game show, but it never really made it past that point. Really, it just kind of stayed there. I think Nick had a couple other people like Cincinnati Picker, very, very selective. But then one day I saw he had Rod on, and that's where it all kind of started. I was like, I really liked Rod's vibe. I really just dug him. I was like, this dude he's my kind of guy. He's a reseller, but he don't take himself seriously. He just likes to have a laugh, and that's my favorite person. So I went and seeked him out. I sent a link to Tracy, and I was like, we got to go find this guy because he looks phenomenal. And I'll never, he was live. It happened to be on the night he was going and doing the waffle.
Yeah.
And it was like there was 7 people in his chat. She can tell you, we'll never forget that. There was 7 people. 2 of them were us, and 3 of them were trolls, and 2 were them 2. So you do the math. It was like he was so early on and so new, and it was amazing watching him just grow. And
Yeah.
you know, and as he was always live, but Drew was always on his channel with him. I never saw them go live on Drew's channel, so we never got to really promote Drew's channel the same way. So Rod got to take off, and poor Drew standing there holding the flag, you know. It's like, and
I
it's like,
said to Drew the other day, I said, man, like, we've got to get your channel going.
Yeah.
Like, I've got to get you onto Instagram. Like, and even yesterday, I just taught Drew how to add his YouTube profile into his Instagram. Like, he's just got no clue about it.
Because
and
he's so smart. His knowledge is insane.
He's got so much knowledge. He's so helpful to me. And I'd love to see Drew's channel kind of take off. And
except he has to learn. He has to learn that Americans don't search for the word pickups in the title. You got to use haul. If you keep using pickups, you're never going to make it outside of Australia.
And you got to use thrifting, and
you got to use thrift haul or charity haul. Or I always laugh when I see him say pickups. I always laugh. I'm like, I'm the only one finding this. And it's like, because I'm subscribed. Yeah. So
I think when I found Rod, like back then, I didn't even have a YouTube account. So I used to watch Rod and that, but I couldn't comment in any of the live chats or anything. So, and that, I think that was even the same even when I found you guys. At first I couldn't even chat because I didn't have so I was watching, but I didn't have
chat.
I didn't have like an account set up with you.
Oh, you were in there as a guest. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was actually for quite a few months, Brad and Jazz and you guys and Rod and Drew, and like I was kind of listening to everything, but I didn't have an account set up. So
did you not know you had to do that, or could you not figure it out?
Like I literally have never really done YouTube, like except for when I taught myself photography. I used to Google and watch tutorials and stuff, but I never like logged in and joined a community or like that. And I never saw a live, and I think it wasn't until Rod's, and then I was like, oh, this actually looks fun. And I could see Brad, I was following Brad and Jazz, and I could see them doing a little bit more, and they were kind of at a similar stage at me, maybe a couple of months ahead. And I was like, this is fun. So yeah, I signed up and made the account, and then I was able to get amongst it. And now I'm a little bit addicted.
So let me guess, you didn't even know how to log into YouTube like 6 months ago, and now you're making like semi-viral shipping videos and packing video inventory videos, right? Is that what we're saying here?
Pretty much.
Oh wow! And does it feel gay in here to you?
Oh
like,
yeah.
Hey, there's Gay Worley. She's here.
I think like really when Brad started doing his interview series, and he kind of was looking for people to interview, and that was right. I think I was like his 2nd or 3rd week when Brad and Jazz interviewed me, and so I was only quite new going full time, because I went full time in April last year. So really before that, I'd only been dabbling and hadn't really taken it very serious. So I think that when Brad was looking for people to go live, and he was kind of only a couple months ahead of me, and I was still anonymous on my Instagram account. Like I didn't have any photos of me. Like I was totally anonymous, and everyone I knew was blocked. And I was like, if I go live on Brad's channel, because I talked to him about it, I was like, if I go live on his channel, then I'm going to have to
open up the world. You're going to have to tell the world who you are, right?
I'm going to have to put myself out there. Anyone that might be following me might know me, and I might have people find me. And
well, we've had like not deep talks, but a couple like nonchalant talks about you've had some friends really do some weird things, like and I can understand that. It's so bad.
I think, like I've definitely, I used to get hate mail and, have stalkers, and I don't know, I've been a little bit closed off. And I think when I opened that Instagram account, it was because I was in a bit of a dark place, and I needed some positivity and some help.
Right.
And so it wasn't really about reselling that's why it's called Back from Burnout, because
Right.
you know, I basically felt like I absolutely crashed after we moved house and had a stressful financial time, and
you had health issues.
I had health issues, and I literally just crashed and burned and got to the point where I was like, couldn't do anything. I was down in the dumps. I went on medication, and I opened that page to kind of just blocked everyone I knew to get me.
Ken Daigle. He said he was just checking on you. He wasn't stalking.
So yeah, I don't know. I just kind of blocked everyone. It was like my private little sanctuary. Do you know what I mean? Like even you know, my family.
But the thing is like you've come out like I don't even know how to describe it. You've come out with like venom. Your Instagram is taken off. Like it's amazing, and your video views for subscriber base is like something people dream of. It's like I don't. Are you buying all this shit, or what are we doing here? Are you buying your views? Is that what you're going? You can tell me. I won't tell anybody.
Buying nothing.
Okay. All right.
You know I'm not buying anything because you see my analytics.
I know. I'm just messing around. But it's like, it's amazing because it seems that whatever you're doing, it's needed there because you're in a Brad and Jazz and Drew and all them do phenomenal, amazing videos. Like, and they do, but you're in a whole different, you're in that midlife crisis, change over life, age, like
middle age.
Yeah.
Can I just clarify? Tommy and I are exactly the same age.
Yeah. And so we're both middle-aged. We both went through midlife crisis, or still in it, one or the other. But you will probably get a different demographic because if you look at like YouTube in general, like or eBay in general, like people who, if you pull in your stats from YouTube, like the average age is like, I don't know anymore. It was like 45 to 64, I think, or something like that. I haven't looked in a while. Those are the people that are at that point in their life are thinking, I'm not happy. I need to change. I need to do, I want something different. I want to get my own business. I want to do, they're in a midlife crisis. Really. They're just coming to the realization that they have more days behind them than in front of them, and they want to be happy. So you're going to resonate with that crowd over there and bring them in, and on top of, everyone else that you guys bring in, which is really a really good thing that probably a lot of soccer moms need, right?
We're football moms over here.
Oh, football moms. Yeah. Oztag moms. A lot of Oztag moms need.
I think, you and I, we're the same age. I'm a mom. I've got 4 kids. You're a dad. You've got 2 girls. But we're both totally, we've both got totally different business models, like I'm the volume, turn it over.
I don't really have a business model right now. I don't have a business, so to speak, until eBay. So we can just ease into yours and not mine.
But even when we do, okay, so if anybody is coming from my end and they don't know Tommy has had some dramas with eBay of late. He got suspended and he's just trying to get his channel back, his eBay account going. But for anyone who doesn't know, Tommy likes to have a small account with maybe, I don't know, 400 items in your shop?
Well, we got up to 1,200 items, and it was like the worst thing I ever did. And then we just squashed it. And like my best ever months were when I had between 300 and 450 items were our best months ever. And
you definitely you like to buy a lot of RA, like retail arbitrage?
I use it to satisfy my wants, I think.
Okay.
So instead of me blowing money on myself, I can buy it, and it actually fills that void. You know what I mean? Because I was a shopaholic my whole life, so I could go shopping every day, day in and day out, all day. Well, that's not financially a smart move, really. It's like, so I could now satisfy my needs with the RA side, right? And just buy the things that I like and hopefully sell them for a profit.
Because I noticed that you buy new, like a lot of Polo and Ralph Lauren, which is all obviously your favorite brands, and so you're buying sneakers and stuff like that. So, are you buying them in your own personal size so that if
I do buy a lot of stuff in my size in case it doesn't fit. I mean, in case it doesn't sell. Yeah, I do. And then you write that off like as an expense because you got to have new clothes for YouTube, right? So, like, why not?
For all those daily lives that you do.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
And so again, if anyone doesn't know Tommy, which I think most people in this chat do, but if there's anyone lurking or watching behind, Tommy runs a nighttime kind of YouTube channel, and he has a co-host, Tracy from Uniquely Me, and they pretty much run a 18 plus. Is that how you describe it?
I think so. I think it's I think it's more like what everyone wants to say but is scared to say it kind of chat.
Okay, because in your nighttime chat, you can go from talking about vintage t-shirt or a pair of sneakers to next minute talking about a purple adult toy.
Right. Yeah. it just, you never, and I think I enjoy that because of like what I listen to on the radio, the type of people that I like to listen to. They keep me entertained for hours and hours and hours. So I can't listen to just a purely reselling chat for hours and hours and hours. You know what I mean? Like, if that makes any sense, I don't know. I would I just zone out. And, but there's a couple radio DJs here that I grew up listening to, and they could captivate me for just 8 hours a day if they were on, like, and they were, because one would go on and then the other one would follow. So it was like 4 hours, and that was 8 hours. And I listened to them every single day, all day, never missed a word. Like, it just captivated me. So that was kind of my whole thought behind it. Not to say that I could do the same exact thing as they do, because they're making millions of dollars, but if I could, that's what I wanted to do. And I think we, to an extent, do it. Not quite as good, but we're getting better.
And so you just met, like, Tracy, who you co-host with. You met her just like in chats on like other people's.
Yes, we all, like, we've tried to figure this out a couple times, and but there was a chat, Lonnie and Justin, RVA Flips, Garage Flips, and John Cincinnati Picker, and it changed around a couple times, but they had a morning show every day. So everyone went there all day, and they did an 8-hour stream every day while they worked for a long time. And then it affected their businesses, obviously, because they're paying attention to chat every day for 8 hours. They're, things they have to do. So unfortunately they had to cancel that. But the good thing is it brought a lot of people together. I met Ken Daigle in there. I met Tracy. I mean, I can't even tell you everyone at this point in time now because it's been so long. But that's how I heard of Zahir. They always talked about Zahir. Trying to look, I can't remember, but they captivated us because they did a little bit of comedy, humor, picked on each other, and worked all day. But then, so Tracy was, I think, doing a lot of like jewelry or something at the time, and I had this necklace. Well, it was a choker, and we had it for like a year, and I couldn't sell it for like $2. I couldn't figure out why I couldn't sell this thing. It was 37 grams of pure silver. It had a name. There was no reason it shouldn't have sold other than it was ugly. But so I messaged her one day. I was like, "Can you help me with this?" Like, and she replied and helped me, and eventually it sold for next to nothing anyway. But it just, like, then we just started being able to reach out to each other for information, and she was really the first person that I was able ever to get help with on something, I think, other than asking in chats or something like that, but personally, like, so that kind of was nice to know that existed at that point too. And that
I think that makes a difference, doesn't it? Having someone to, bounce some ideas or just ask for help, and should I buy this, or especially things that you're selling that aren't in your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
I think
right.
I'm lucky that I've got that with Rod and Drew.
Right.
They're very into all the hardware and the DVDs and the games and the rubbish, you know. So I think I'm really lucky because I can be in the thrift shop and send them a photo and go, what do you think? Should I buy this? Or, you know, and, you know, sometimes I've sent too many photos and Rod starts going, you know, how's the weather? You know, he changes the subject on me quite a lot. But
yeah. But it's like the last, like Tracy's chat, like Tim, like that knowledge and having someone like him to reach out to it's priceless. And I don't know if everyone can work together with that is amazing. You know, there's so much knowledge. Like when I say this a lot, is like when I read the chat, the first thing I see is a name and it equates to their business. Like it literally, my mind goes right to their business model for some reason. And then I look at their comments. So that's how I started associating everyone is what type of business they run or what they specialize in or whatever. And if you really put that whole picture together, it's insane how much knowledge is out there.
Yep. Yeah. And I think like what I've kind of worked out with you that is quite similar to me is that I think we think a lot alike on a business.
It's funny, I know.
On a business sense. Like I think you and I have brains that learn very similarly. Is that right? Like there's a couple of people that you and I both follow that doesn't seem to be that other people follow. So it's like you and I have searched the same things to learn off. And like I'll go in there and like you're in that chat and nobody else, like considering how many chats we're in this last year, I don't see anybody else's names in those chats except So I'm like,
and you're not allowed to say them publicly either. I try to keep them quiet from people. So Tracy, don't find me or Kent or, you know, you need a break sometimes.
But I think what that means is like you and I actually search for similar things and similar ways to learn. And I think that we both self-teach ourselves.
Well, it's the same when you talk about like the stuff that you've asked me about on like YouTube. It's like the questions that I would ask myself, like, or try to dissect. I look at eBay differently than a lot of people, right? So, and I think that you kind of do the same thing, even if you don't know you do it. I don't look at what to sell. I look at I look at how eBay works. And then once I know how eBay works, and then it doesn't really matter. You can sell anything as long as you buy right. And the same thing with YouTube. It doesn't, if you look at, you got to learn how YouTube works or Instagram. You know how Instagram works. I haven't figured that one out yet, but YouTube is the same way. You got to figure out how it works. And then you give it what it wants, right? You just feed it what it wants. And then you get the push. I haven't quite figured it out yet, evidently, like you have. So
I feel like though that you're similar in the way with me that we're a little bit, what's the word? Obsessive perfectionist in learning something. So if you want to learn something, you want to learn it to the absolute best of your whole ability.
It's kind of obsessive, actually, to be honest. Like it's not really healthy all the time.
Yeah.
It just depends, like what it is. But
so I think that you engross yourself. Like in learning, like if you want to learn YouTube, you will absolutely engross yourself in everything analytical that you can learn about YouTube. You know, when it comes time for you to learn Instagram, you'll put all your focus energy. Like I feel like there's a word for it, and I feel like you're hyper focused.
Yeah, it's kind of like but it's a compulsive. It's like an obsessive compulsive sort of like but the problem is I try to do too many at one time and then I never perfect any of them. So it's like,
but then do you because you're so focused on YouTube or whatever it might be at the time, like learn, because I know that you research to learn, so I know that you'll be like, okay, whatever it is at the time that you want to learn about, you put everything into like I get that because I work in a similar way, and some people quite often in past have told me that I'm quite a scatterbrain, and it's more that I'm just
because you're half listening while you're focused on something else.
So I kind of jump from one thing to the other.
I literally get told that every day from the wife that I'm not listening. I don't listen. She says something to me and she's like, you didn't hear me, did you? And I'm like, what? You didn't hear me.
I think what you do is you kind of lock yourself into like a specific task and or something to learn about, and then you've got the inability then to kind of shift the way that your attention to other things.
Mm-hmm.
So
once I feel like I've gotten to the point of where I'm happy, which is usually really hard to get to. Like eBay took a while, and it took like a year of obsession to figure out how it ticks and what I thought, in my opinion, how I thought it ticked and what made it tick and what you needed to do. Evidently it doesn't always work out so great. But then hopefully everything doesn't take that long, because that's a long time to like spend obsessing about something to get it, to where you're happy with it.
So you have been buying like a lot of equipment at the moment to start making pre-recorded videos for YouTube.
And that's another. So now that's like an obsession. Like if you like, my GoPro is set up here. It's always I'm sorry, I took it down. Actually, it's right here. And I literally today, because I record so much, I just got this in this will make 5 batteries. So I have 2 batteries already. Here's 3 more. So that I can, and then I got another memory card today because I run out of battery and memory all day long while I record, because I record literally everything that I do, like everything. And then I'll sit down and like sift through a couple hours of it and then delete what I don't want, put the rest in another folder. And then hopefully I'll get to a point where I'm happy with enough where I can make something out of it.
So like that's,
which will probably be another year.
But like that's so time consuming for you, like to set it all up and then to sit back and look at it and chop out the bits that you think you don't want. Like, why don't you just bite the bullet? And like, is it because of that perfectionist side of you? Like,
because I don't like to fail.
I'm
one of those people where I would fear. I'm sure that like any person who's done pre-recorded early on, they were fearful of the same thing, where you put out a pre-recorded video and 0 views come up, like 0, even though I know that would never happen, I would still be disappointed, I think, with the turnout, because if you think about it, we did it backwards. Tracy did do some videos, but I did it backwards myself. Most people don't do lives first. So we've kind of set a standard for our lives that I'm fearful I can't match in a pre-recorded, if that makes any sense.
So you've put expectations on yourself now.
Yeah.
Because you've become quite a big channel and you're quite well known, you've got these expectations on yourself now that you have to do this super duper video, but you haven't ever put one out. So you're really quite a newbie at it. Right.
And so to go from not to say that we're like, I'm not talking about when I say I feel comfortable going live. Like I don't get any type of nerves at all ever, or like nothing bothers me. Like there's no thoughts. It's just, I don't take notes. We don't write any. We just, like Tracy and I literally don't talk all day long. We won't even speak through the day until 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and just to make sure we're both still alive and say we're on, right? And then we go on. And a lot of people don't believe us, but that's what we do. And we don't think of anything like our topic, like the titles. That's why I stopped writing titles, because it was all bullshit. Like I didn't even care about a title. I didn't want a title because there was nothing to talk about. I was just going to let it rip anyway. It was just going to, I don't know, just whatever was going to happen was going to happen. And that's the same thing with scheduling stuff, like scheduling a time I can't do. And you can, and I think I'm pretty sure this is all the wife in here. She can tell you, she'll be the first one to tell you that if she asks me about something and she's like, you want to do this 3 weeks from now? I will say, I don't know. I will never say yes. I'll say, I don't know. And she'll like, what do you mean you don't know? I don't know. I don't know how I feel in 3 weeks. and it's terrible, but that's just, I'm fearful of making that commitment and then disappointing if it doesn't work out.
So do you keep a diary?
No, that would
because what that actually, like, it's similar to me. So like when I was in my last job and I used to have a diary, and I'd open up that diary and it was full of appointments, you know, like being a photographer, people wanted to book photo shoots like 3, 4, 5, 6 months in advance for weekends that they were free, or weekends in the spring or the summer. And I had this diary, and I used to open it up, and just, it would make me feel sick and anxious that I was booking all this stuff ahead when I actually had no clue how it's going to feel. Or I think that was one of the hardest parts for me, and one of the things that I love most about eBay is I have no diary anymore. I don't schedule things in either. And I know there was a bit of banter there between you and I about scheduling me in.
Right. Yeah. And it became a joke because I learned, like, I was just actually talking about this a few minutes ago, and I was like, it was more of a joke at the end because I figured out your schedule by what you would say in chat. So I knew when you were on a school run.
Yeah.
So that's when I would ask, like, you want to come live? Like, and then it became where I could just knew you were going to say no, and I could use it for something to start a like conversation and laugh about, because people thought I was being for real. And it's, if you watch, like, that's the thing, like, if you watch the chat enough, you learn people's schedules, you learn a lot about them when you see them day in and day out. And I was able to figure out like what you said and when you were going like on school runs, or it was just kind of funny. So
yes, and I knew it was like that as well. It was like every time he goes live in America, it's at the time when I'm like packing all my orders, and you know, obviously, like, I quite often have a lot of orders, so it's like quite a big. So I need to concentrate, like, and I'll have the phone next to me so that I'll have the AirPods in or the earphones or whatever, and the phone will be on my like packing desk, and I can see the chat, and if I want to jump in and write something, then I can. But you'd always be like, come, jump in, Mel, jump in the chat. And I'd be like, like, I'm working.
I know.
I'd have, like, I don't have an office as such, so I'm
right.
So
and you got to work when no one's around.
Yeah. And then I think it was after Rob the other day, the VHS thrifter, and he's like, 3 strikes and you're out.
That was the best. Like, and I really want to put that on. I cut it out and have it separated, and I really want to put that on our channel just to show how amazing he is. But I can't even come up with an intro that is even worthy of his talent. It's I need to pay like somebody famous to come on and speak about it, because it's crazy. I can't even.
Isn't he? He's very if somebody in there can link Rob's channel, that would be good. But he's very good at editing. He is creative. He's obviously quite out there. If you don't like swearing, you're not going to like to watch him.
But he has a unique way of telling a story with F-bombs.
Yes.
Like, so you can tell by the way that the context or the level of, I don't know, of authority that he uses, that he's telling it, this F-bomb means something different than this one. It's just amazing how it's almost like a guitar player. They can play a song with a guitar, but not the word, but you can hear the words through the guitar. Well, that's how it is with him and F-bombs. It's like he can literally tell a story with F-bombs, and it just kills me. I love it. Yeah,
he's very actually Rob. I get Rods and Robs. I get them so.
I do it all the time. I feel horrible.
Rob. Anyway, but Rob sent me a message the other day, you know, asking if I'd come on his channel at some stage soon. So that'll be fun. I'll be keen to get on there with him. So
you're gonna go on his show?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that would be awesome.
Apparently. So he messaged me and asked me. So yeah.
And he got who I just saw something I wanted to say. What was it? Rob was others. Yeah, Gary V style, sort of. Yeah.
Kind of Gary.
I think actually Gary V's good, but I think Rob is way better at his passion for the F-bomb. It's way better than Gary V's.
I think the difference is that Rob is very almost like a comic. Like he's like comedian almost. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a fun. Gary Vee just says it. He's like business boom boom boom, whereas Rob has the I don't know, like it's like a comedy show. It's like watching a comedy show at the same time as him being.
But his but you can tell he's very smart as well. His grammar, you can tell that he's hiding a lot of brain power behind all the F-bombs.
Yeah.
That's what I think. That's what is most intriguing. You gotta. It's almost like this episode. You need one of these episodes for him, like behind the F-bomb. It's like, no, but I don't know if he could turn it off though.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen him tone it down. Whether or not he can turn it off, I don't know.
Yeah, educated swearing. Yeah, that's it. There you go. But it's like, and I think what you guys have really unlocked is up until, women were always held to a different standard, like prim and proper and like, like just.
Not the Aussies. Well,
no, it's not just you, but it's like the whole YouTube world is like shown that women can be what they want to be. Like and what made me think about this was someone, you might not even know them yet, but you should. They're hilarious. Her name is Lauren, Deep End of the Sandbox. I've never met her, don't know her, but I see her in chats, and she's probably one of the funniest people in the world. But if I didn't know she was a woman, you would think it was like Rob talking on the other end. It was like if I didn't know that her name was Lauren, right? It's hilarious. Yeah, she's absolutely hilarious. So it's like and I think that's what's refreshing, because you can kind of be yourself and not be as judged here, right?
I think I don't know. I mean, your channel is very much about coming over there. Everyone, it's almost like it's like beer o'clock over at your channel. Do you know what I mean? Everyone
right.
comes to relax, and like obviously you're in America, so your time difference is different, but like we're all still working our asses off over here, but you guys are end of your day, you've had your dinner,
everybody's listened to like 12 hours straight of eBay talk and reselling talk, so
it's like bring a beer in, let's unwind. Although you don't seem to drink as much beer as us Aussies, do you think?
No, I don't really drink hardly at all. Like I don't drink much at all. Like, shoot, I can't even remember. I've had like a 6-pack of beer in the last 2 months, maybe. I don't know, something like that. That's
crazy. I think the Aussies like maybe drink a bit more and swear a bit more, and I don't know. They've got that little bit of bogan in us.
Bogan, that's the word. Yeah, and it's. That cracks me up, that word, because I asked Bron about that a long time. I heard her say it first, like it's a dialect, right? It's like a dialect but it's a look down upon dialect, right? Right? It's like I think it's what
I think it's
like trailer trash or white trash or something we call it here or something. I don't know, but that cracks me up because you guys don't. It doesn't appear that way to me. I mean, I'm sure everyone else will feel the same. It doesn't. You don't come across like white trash or like whatever. It's like I don't, but it's just the grammar is all it is. It's not like anything else. Not like lifestyle. Like here it would be lifestyle, but yours is just grammar. Oh, that's wild.
And I think we say things differently. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I think yesterday I said to you something like I had the shits with my daughter, and you literally thought that I had the shits.
Yeah, like I don't like I forget, we were talking about the times and stuff, and you were like, because we wanted to test the mic or your mic or something, and I was like, hey, do you want to hop in and test your mic? And you were like, I've just left the house with the shits with my daughter. And I'm like, well, if you have the shits, shouldn't you stay home where there's a toilet nearby? And I literally, I had no idea that you meant that that's like an argument or something, or like mad. I was like, what?
I was like, I'm literally telling you that I've got like diarrhea or something.
I thought it was kind of weird that you told me you had the shits anyway, but then it was like, to figure out that it's a whole different language. I was like, what? I was like, I have no idea what English is now. I'm so.
I think after a few messages, because I was clearly cranky with the shits. And you were like, I've got no idea what you're saying, but I get the impression that you're angry.
Yeah, well, I don't know what you said, but I remember saying I have no idea what you're talking about, but I think that you're angry. Like, what was it? It was something about something you said about the shits, and then you went into something else trying to explain it, and you made it even worse.
I said that I lost the plot or something, I think.
Oh yeah, I lost the plot. Do you know a plot here is land. It's like it's like, and so that threw me for a loop. I was like, okay, all right. And so now I know what bogan means.
So there you go. So anyway, when we say we've lost the plot, it means we're got the shits.
Yeah. And just because you have the shits don't mean you have the shits. It means that could be angry.
I wasn't sure at first. I was actually like, is he having me on, or does he literally think I've just told him I've got the shits?
I really did. I'm telling you. But so what do you say if you do have the shits? What word do you use?
Well, we could say that as well. We could say we got the shits, or we could say we got the trots, or we could say we got
trots. Okay. See, I knew there had to be something. It was like Ken said blown gasket. But the way you context, so if you say I got the shits, but would you have to say I got the shits with my daughter to contextualize it, or could you just say I got the shits and people would know right away which one is which?
Yeah, if I just sent my girlfriend a message and said, "I freaking got the shits," she would know that I was pissed off and cranky and needed to have a vent.
Okay, all right.
She wouldn't literally think I was sending her a message saying that I've got the runs with the diarrhea.
Sarah says she got the runs. Yeah, that runs. We say the runs here. Yeah, the runs is a big one here. Or the shits. Actually, we say the shits or diarrhea or something. Yeah, trots. I like trots. Trots is a new one. Oh God,
that was funny.
Anyway. Yeah. So, all right, we've taken it to a different level at 42 minutes in already. But that was my first experience with because with the UK they say some words also. I'm sure you've seen many that we don't say or that you don't say.
They call it tat. I was like,
tat.
I thought they meant tattoo, like I was the whole time. I was like, why do they all call themselves the tat?
I know that sounds like a disease or something, or it sounds bad. It doesn't sound good. It doesn't sound like it. Well, maybe tat means shit though, or something, or like crap. Yeah. But how do they come up with? They have a way of shortening some words, but then making other things extremely ridiculous. So.
And what they say one time, they said something like rat's arsed or something like for meant getting drunk or something like this. And I was just like, what?
Yeah.
Work it out. So it can be difficult, I guess, if you're talking to people from, you meet all these people who are worldwide and everyone's got their, we're possibly all getting mixed up with what people actually mean.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And then also, the other day when you said something about your dad in the chat, I had no idea. I thought you misspelled something. I thought you literally just put your elbow on the keyboard.
Oh, I called him an F-wit, didn't I?
An F-wit. Yeah, an F-wit. Like, what is an F-wit?
So what would you call that?
I don't know. What does an F-wit mean?
Well, it means a F-E-C-K wit.
Oh. We would just say an effer, just an effer. He's a mother effer, or he's just an effer, or something like that. We wouldn't. But F-wit was a new one. I was like, did you just misspell something? Like totally. I was like, and I saw you type that in chat. And sometimes because of or dipshit or whatever dumb shit Tracy said.
I think sometimes, but you can I'll sit there sometimes because on your channel. And you have so much banter going. If I say something like that and you say something back about it, I'm like, is he joking me? Is he giving me shit to make me look dumb here now?
Trying to make you look dumb. I really honestly don't know because our words are so different. They're so different. When you think you know English, you really don't. I mean, it's like it's crazy between all of our people that we've met and brought together. You really learn a lot about just verbiage, just words that nonsensical words have 20 different meanings. I don't get it.
Well, and you guys even study like the map and the world and work out where everyone is, whereas I can't get my head around geography. And
I can't get my head around geography. I think that's the joke, because I don't know where anything is until it intrigues me, because I try to visualize it when we start talking about something, and then come to find out I have no clue in the world where it's at. And I'm so far, I'll take a guess. I'm not even in the right hemisphere half the time.
You've got a pretty good grip on where all the Aussies are that you talk to, but like in terms of the map and.
Well, there's only 3 spots. I mean, it's very easy. You're all on a coast. How about it's like I feel like it's like the east, south, and west, and that's it.
Yeah.
No one lives in the middle, and no one's up north except for all the people you bring in to do your business for you. So I don't know.
You've got that down packed, whereas I just wouldn't have a clue in America, like where you are compared to Tracy or compared to Cernok or compared to Krillin, and you've all got such different accents. And
and that's another thing too. Well, even where Krillin lives, he lives on a little island called Long Island. And I went there, I don't even know how long ago now. I went up there to drop something off because I didn't want to ship it. So New York is only like 2.5 hours away, 3 hours away. So I figured make a trip out of it, go there for the weekend, and I would drop this part off instead of shipping it. And I just messaged person. I said, "Are you okay with this?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure." I said, I'll bring it up tonight. And we went up there. So I'm all excited. I pull up the map of Long Island, and I have a program or an app that pulls up all the stores that I shop at, and it plots them out, puts them all on a map, and gives me the order to run them in that's most efficient. It like literally on the map, and they were like this. But for some reason, when we started driving, this island's like hours long, and it was totally not what I expected. And I was so angry with myself. I wasted so much time driving and looking around, and so unproductive. Really just didn't get anything that I wanted.
So of all the American resellers that we kind of chat to, like who are you closest to in terms of driving?
Well, there's people that I don't know if you know them, but they're newer that we started following. Like there's a guy that goes live now, Harry Humpstone. Have you seen him?
Yep.
He lives like 20 minutes from me. Jennifer Hayes lives up north. She lives like an hour from me, 45 minutes, something like that. But then there's people that used to live here and then have moved away that I've found out, like Candace, Your Best You. She was born here and moved away. I think, did I see Kelly? I think Kelly Ecom Mom Ward. I don't know if she's in here, but if she's in here, she was born here in Delaware and she moved away. So
do you have like a meetup up there, like near your area? Do you want to organize one?
I'm not. No, because that's a commitment, right? That would have to be a day.
So when I messaged you for this, because we'd had all that banter about you, like me not coming on your show, and you were giving me shit the whole time about it. And so I messaged you one day and said, "Righto, if you can't lock me in for a time that works within my schedule, you'll have to come onto my channel."
Mm-hmm.
And you straight away said, "Okay." And I was like, okay, like this is not.
Well, because it's like it's daytime is the hardest because of the family, right? Because just like you never know what's going to happen day to day, right? You didn't, like yesterday when I asked you about the mic, testing the mic, your whole day was turned upside down because of family stuff.
Yep.
So that's my fear that's going to happen. So it's really hard to make commitments through the day. Right. So, but like, I know generally the baby goes to bed, it's around 7:30, 8 o'clock. And so most of the time, not always, it's pretty safe if I schedule something after that.
Yep. Okay. So that works well. Whereas, yeah, I think, so were you stressing about that then, having something locked in your diary for over a week?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I mean, I stress and it's not because I just, if something happens, I just don't want to disappoint. I mean, that's all it is. It's not anything else, that stuff goes wrong. I mean, it just happens, and it seems to happen a lot to me.
So do you think that's like an anxiety thing? You think you have anxiety?
When it comes to that, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think you've probably got, like, you've obviously got a bit of OCD there going on.
I didn't know it was coming to be on your couch.
You got a bit of anxiety. I reckon you got a bit of ADD.
Yeah, I got a lot of ADD.
You got this hyper focus going on with your ADD, because I think with ADD from...
Is this an intervention that I was not aware of?
No, like, I'm just saying, like, a lot of people with like ADD or ADD, they can't focus.
Yeah.
So I've wondered this about myself over the years. Like, sometimes I can't focus at all, and other times I can be super focused. And I guess it depends on if it's something that I'm really enjoy learning about.
You have to be interested in it to be hyper focused. Yeah.
So, like, for me, like, I can get hyper focused on trying to learn about YouTube, because I'm only new to it. So even though I'm only new to it, like, now I want to really learn about it. That's in my paperwork. What are you laughing at? Who's written something?
I'm looking at the chat. Kent, you're in a safe place, Snowflake. AIDS, I'm getting counseling. I'm always sorry. I'm so used to like looking at the chat. I don't miss anything.
Yeah,
see, you're starting some crap now. Look, I got getting comments. I like her. She's laying it all out for you.
But were you like that when you started? Like, because I can't literally read that chat while I'm like.
I think that because
I'm not looking up at my like.
Don't look at your camera. Don't worry about that. And I asked the chat one night. I was like, "Does it bother people?" Because I don't know. When you go into chats, does it annoy you when people don't look at the chats for like an hour and then they don't respond to anybody? All these questions that are flying by and they don't respond.
Well, I think it depends on what kind of chat it is. Like, I think it depends if it's just like a working hangout and a bit of a casual thing, then you're kind of in there for the bit of the social interaction and to look at the chats. I guess if you come in with the topic, you're there to kind of chat about the topic with the person. So I feel like you and I have had talk about this topic or whatever this whole time. So it's hard for me to not get distracted in what I'm talking about with you to read the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it's just, I don't know. I guess Tracy would have to answer that. I don't know, because I can't remember yesterday, honestly. Like, I don't remember. I have trouble remembering anything because I don't feel it's important to dwell on like things. And so I get in trouble all the time for not remembering something that I said yesterday, or something I said I would do, or something that someone told me that I needed to do. I get in trouble for that all the time. And I don't understand why I can't just process it. I hear it, but I just don't put it in deep enough to like remember it for some reason until I'm told again about it. So I can't remember. Like, I feel like I've always just looked at the chat from day one because I thought I think I see a lot of people get agitated when they're ignored in chats. I've seen it so many times and I think people are what makes your channel. So you have to kind of pay attention, really. I mean, just my opinion, but what do I know?
So apologies to all the chat in here that I've totally ignored the whole hour. And you've pulled out a few comments, but yeah, I'm literally like, I have I can see it there moving, but I'm like,
yeah, he's here. But no, and I know, like, it's when you're small, it's a lot easier to get that rapport with your viewers. It's like customers going into a restaurant or a convenience store, when it's like they say they greet everyone that comes in, right?
Yeah.
And that makes you feel good, and you want to go back to that place because they acknowledge you. And I think that when you're small still, like us, it's easy to do. That's not always going to be that way if your channel grows. I mean, you cannot possibly do it when you have hundreds of people in your chat. It's not possible. So enjoy it now. Try and do the best you can. But
well, I mean, there was a chat that you and I were in the other day, and must have been about 160 people in that chat. And that guy who was teaching about YouTube. And it was just moving so fast. I was like, how can we even so I don't know how many people are in here now, but this chat is moving fast for me with like a lot of different names. So I find that like maybe if I had a quarter of the amount of people, I'd be able to keep up with that. But
you get better. Like you just get better. I think I always just leave it at the bottom. I don't know. I see people like going up and down, but I never leave it from the bottom. I leave it scrolled all the way at the bottom, and I just catch them as they're coming and just go. Like Zahir, he's one. Even though he has a big chat, he does well, very well for someone that has near 200 people in there. At getting through a lot of the chat. And you just got to learn, I think, in your opinion, what is important and what isn't. Like, is it important for me to read that one and say it or not, or is that going to help or hinder? But then I saw Nick and Andrea in here, so you have like royalty in here. Now you have Zahir, you have Nick and Andrea plus everyone else.
Hello, Nick
they
and
have like, I've seen a chat recently. I swear they had 600 and some people in there. Can you imagine?
I went on to Nick's live the other morning because quite often I miss the live because it's early in the morning when it's kind of like I've got to get ready for my school run and get ready for my day. So I was excited the other day when I got into Nick's, but like there must have been like several hundred people before they even went live.
Right.
Like, I was waiting and I just couldn't believe that. And, they'd had like 4 or 5 dislikes before they'd even come on the screen. And I was like, this is crazy.
But as far as that goes, there is something you can do to slow the chat down. And I've never done it. I don't know. I don't even know how it works, but I know you can put it in slow mode. But I am not sure how that works. So
you're, from what I gather, like if you're on topic about something, you're fast with like your replies. Like if there's something that I've noticed, like if I message you something about YouTube and need help, because you've been helping me with YouTube and the analytics and the just trying to help me get my head around it, I guess. If I message you something about that, you are like, bam, 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 bam. Like you can answer. Like I'm like, how does he even type that quick? Like, how do you answer quick?
I wish you would bring this up because I get yelled at all the time for having my phone attached to me. So can we delete that, please? I do. I literally have my phone all the time.
Okay.
Wide open. Like, I mean, I'm in one app or another and YouTube's playing in the background. So as the messages come up, I can just respond immediately. It's like, but I catch so much heat for it. It's ridiculous.
So you're fast on the online chat bar. You're fast on your text message. Like you just seem to respond quickly. You must be like a speed reader almost.
I don't know. I never thought about it. I'll have to like pay attention. Speed reader. Maybe that because I only read like half of it. That's why I don't comprehend it. I don't know. You might have just hit on something.
Do you read books?
No, I can't stand reading. I hate reading.
Enough on the book?
What's that?
Is it because you can't stay focused enough on it?
Right. Yeah. There's no way I could read for hours on end. There's no way. That would not be, because I wouldn't learn anything for one. Like I have to be learning at all times. I don't deal with fantasy. I don't like that. I like tangible facts. I like, like my daughter's read Harry Potter like 7 times. I can't even imagine reading it a half a time or one time. It just makes no sense to me.
I think I'm a little bit similar because I like to read a lot of self-help books if I do read. I know you just said you didn't read, so it's not really similar, but I do like to read self-help books on like all different things. Do you know what I mean? On the mind, body language, on money, on doesn't matter what it is. I like to read about because that's a learning thing for me as well. I like to constantly be learning, but every now and then I can read a fiction book, but it has to be a series because I can't just read a fiction book that is one book because like I get into that addictive mode and I need to keep going. So
really,
I can't just read. Like I can't just go to the bookshop and pick up one book off, that's, I don't know, romance, whatever it is. I can't just read one book. Like, so I think that's why I love like the True Blood books and because there's like 14 of them in the series. So I go from one to the other, but I get once I start reading books, I get so consumed into them. But sometimes when you read a self-help book,
I apologize. I've offended Nick Hills by calling him royalty. He's evidently calling them royalties not good anymore after all the shakeups over there, I guess.
We think he's royalty, don't we?
Yeah. Yeah. Royalty's still like a good word in our terminology. So
he is a very good guy, Nick.
They're so like when they, if everyone could stay as down to earth as they do, you know, like Nick and Zahir, and when they get big, it would be so much better. The world will be so much better. Dr. Mel, I know, right? I feel like I'm on Dr. Mel.
Well, you know, I like to talk about a topic, and you know, like that's one thing I think with you that people don't realize, because if you were just to come into your chat at night, you would just go, who is this dirty, flirty?
It's not my fault. Tracy's fault.
Do you know what I mean? Like you come, like, if you didn't know you, then you would just come in. But I think that I can see, because I feel like you and I have similar brain power in the way that we work, and I feel like I kind of get you in that way. So I think there's a side of you that people don't see.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely different sides. There's always, I mean, isn't that everyone? Like everyone has a, I don't know what you would say it. I don't know how you would say it, but there's definitely, look at actors and actresses or anyone, there's definitely a different mindset as soon as you hit the live button versus being at home, right?
See, I'm distracted now because I'm reading that chat. So that made me like.
and you lost total focus. What I was saying, I saw you zone out.
That chat, I was smirking, and I'm losing focus on what you're saying there. So.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's kind of like a lot of it is just banter and fun, and see how far you can push the envelope before you get demonetized.
But there must be some people that don't get that. Do you know, like?
Oh, there's plenty of people that don't get that. Like, there's plenty of people that don't get that it's just fun. It's not for any other reason. And so I know for a fact, like, people used to come in and listen and get so offended, and they would message Tracy and like tell her like it was so nasty, and why would she let anyone talk like that? And like, and then I would just laugh. We would just laugh because we don't talk like that any other time. At all. Like, I mean,
it's almost like your show. It's almost like you've had a few drinks and you're letting loose, but you don't drink. So
right. Yeah.
I mean, I know for myself, like I obviously like to have a few beers, and like I can let loose after I've had a few beers. But you know, like I would be, I don't know. I guess I think it's a good thing though that you've got a channel where you are happy to just be who you are, and people don't like it, don't follow. You've got your share of trolls, and
and I think that people, the ones that do get it and understand, will be there, and if they don't, then they don't, right? There's always more people. I don't worry about that. I don't worry about people not getting it. I worry about if someone did get it. I do go through this phase where someone who did get it and they just disappear, and you see them in other chats, but now they don't come in anymore. I wonder, like, okay, what did I do?
Did you offend them or something?
And then I'll ask Tracy, like, did I do something to this person? Or did you do something to this person? Or did we do something? And then we'll be like, no, nothing. When none of us can remember anything, and it's just something else in their life happened and they can't be there or don't want to be there anymore. You know, I don't know, which is fine. It's just that's the only time that I question that, is when I know someone that used to be there and be very vocal and in the chat, and then you see them in other chats and they're not there anymore. So I think that's the only thing that makes me ever scratch my head.
So you do worry that you might be offending someone or something? Offending someone that you like?
do I worry? I guess I would have to say there's always that worry, but I know that I shouldn't worry, because if I don't know how to explain it. Like, I know if I do say something off, I generally feel it immediately, and I'll try to explain it or apologize, because sometimes when you're live for so long, you do say things in the wrong context, or they come out a way you didn't mean it. I've done that many times, and I have to go back, and I'll even go as far as like to their channel and apologize. Like, I just did it with a new guy not long ago. I said something to him, like, he's a new channel and I like him a lot. And his name's Anthony, Bluegrass Picker. I said something to him about his channel off the cuff, like, and it came off so dickish, like so dickish. And I was like, I was appalled at myself. I was like, I did not mean that way. And so I went to his channel, like, and apologized like profusely, because I did not mean it that way. And he was so good about it, thankfully. And he was like, dude, he's like, you just said what I've been thinking this whole time. Like, and I was like, yeah, but I didn't have to say it that way in front of 70 or 80, 90 people, however many was in there at the time. It just made me feel like an asshole for doing it, you know? So I do know when I cross the line, and if I care, like, unless it's someone that I just truly don't, care about because of what they've done to other people or something that I know, then I'll go figure out a way to explain it the right way.
I think, I think it's definitely nice to have a channel like yours where you can go to and just vent if you need to vent, or swear if you want to swear, or however you want to, like, you can just go to your chat and you know that you can say anything, and like there's no judgment, nobody cares. And like, I think that is
and I think that's the only thing that we don't stand for, which gets us in the most trouble for some reason, is people coming in and talking shit on other creators and accusing them of stuff that's not true. And that is what really has put the troll army against us, like, wholeheartedly. Like, that has really, for some reason, just wrecked the world in YouTube. Like, like when we first started, people would just come in and blast personal friends saying they're buying views and buying subscribers, blah, blah, whatever. And that's what started the troll army, the whole thing. And that blew my mind. That's the thing that made the biggest rife, was that not anything that I say or do, but me shutting people down from talking shit on other creators was the biggest drama fest that could ever be created. And that blows my mind right there.
I think one thing about you is that when you find people that you find your tribe, as people would say, you have their backs. And
well, I'm a Leo, and Leos are loyal to a fault. So a lot of times it works out for the worse when you're that loyal to people, because they'll turn on you. Right. And so, yeah, but people who were there for me when I started, and like reselling, and helped me, I can't really ever let someone come in and like bash them publicly in front of me or in other chats, and then there's people that just you help along the way who you've done countless hours of helping and pushing them, and then they all of a sudden make up a story in their head that you're out to get them. And like, but last week you were telling people to go to their channel and watch them and subscribe, and it seems like they get like jealous of hearing your and it is embarrassing sometimes when you go in a chat and people say our names over and over again, and I get that. It's embarrassing to me, but it seems like some of the people that we've had a couple people recently that have gotten jealous of that, and we gave them big pushes, and they've turned on us. And they had like 7 people or 8 people watching their channel when we found them, and it's crazy. It's just how that works.
Do you think there's a lot more jealousy in this reselling community than people say or comes across?
Absolutely. I don't. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Do you think
even if it's not admitted, I think it is. Like
like in the YouTube more community rather than like how well you doing for eBay, or what? Is YouTube the more?
Well, it's YouTube, right? Because everyone, you know, there's a bit of, I don't know. It takes, what is it? What would it be called to want to be on YouTube? Like is that like narcissism? A little bit of narcissism to want to be on YouTube, maybe?
Well,
Is
you
that
have
the word?
to kind of put yourself out there, don't you? Like,
Yeah, you kind of gotta like do that, and I don't know if that's the right word. I might be speaking bogan there, but it's but there's a bit of that ego that you need to itch, right? And then if you, some people can't handle other people growing faster than them or whatever, you know, and I can tell you wholeheartedly, people that we find like Brad and Jazz, that, you know, like we've got to know you later on because you were you opened up a lot, took a lot longer to open up to people than, because of all what you've been through, and that's understandable. But I've been saying it since like day one, like Brad and Jazz, once they get out there and they get noticed, they're going to explode. I know that. Why that doesn't bother me, that's like amazing to me, because if I were jealous of that, that's an issue. That would be an issue. But there's people that are jealous of that, you know, that will be jealous of that. And that's sad. But I love the fact that we've been able to watch them, like a lot of Josh. Look at him. With Tracy and I, we've been watching him since he had 70 subscribers. Like he was nobody, literally. No one, not a soul knew who he was, except Lonnie found him through comments and stuff and had him on. And he's still the same person to this day. Were we jealous of him? What, jealous? No, I'm not jealous of him. I'm happy to, I hope he gets like 200,000 subscribers. I just don't have that in me to be jealous of people. I want to see them succeed, because I think we all succeed together. If you blow up with 100,000 subscribers, or Brad or someone else that we've all been tight with, eventually some of that is going to come back to you and help you as well. If you don't ruin your relationship with that person or burn it out of jealousy, like tends to happen. You know what I mean?
I think, you know, even I think when Brad and Jazz found you, they probably didn't have very many subs, and you had a lot more than them, and they've gone past you now.
Yeah, and they've gone past me, and I love it. And I think it's amazing, and I hope they keep going. I just don't, you know, I don't have an ill feeling about it at all. Like, I think it's amazing to watch. Like Rob, like literally, we said this the other night, the All CVHS Thrifter, like he's the most the just entertaining person there is on this planet. But when Brad found him, he was debating quitting.
Yeah.
Right. And then Brad showed him to me, and I was like, holy shit, this guy's amazing. We got to get. And then in the first video I watched, he's like cussing because no Americans are watching him. No, fuck you, America. I'm here. Come get me. You know, watch me. And I was like, that's exactly my thoughts. America needs to find you. Like, we need to get, you know, and he felt like a star to me when he had 107 subscribers. I thought he was a star. I was like, this guy's just got it. He's going to crush it. And he will. It's just, it's a grind. It's totally a grind.
Like Bron's saying here, there's pressure to get that 1,000 subs, but I think until you get that 1,000 subs, you don't, like, people don't, like you were saying the other day, like it doesn't matter if you've got 1,000 subs or 50,000 subs, it goes by your views.
Right. I mean, it's like,
it's
bad. It's like EP-ing. It's like a men like flexing their EP-ness, like subscriber count. That's what it is. Like all it is.
Because at the end of the day, it doesn't make a difference. If you've got 1,000 or 50,000, you're still monetized.
If you have 1,000 subscribers and you get 1 million views, you're going to get the same exact check as somebody that has 1 million subscribers and 1 million views, right? It doesn't matter. It's all just ego boost is all it is. I mean, and the thing, I think the reason why I'm so heavy handed on it is because you guys don't see it as much, but we have a lot of fakes and frauds in the States. And we've pointed that out, you know, privately, and shown a lot of people that, you know, they have 100,000 subscribers. They go live and they get 60, 70 viewers, right? How does that happen?
Yep.
Because they bought those subscribers, you know, or they went in these chats to get, you know, to get it. And it just unbelievable.
Yeah. So that's where it's saying it's really, you know, I think earning that 1,000 subs is the hardest part and the slowest part. And then,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even since Brad and Jazz hit 1,000, it's grown quite rapidly.
Yeah. It definitely feels like you get pushes here and there. Like you'll get like just pushes. Like I see it with Tracy's numbers. I look at hers, and because she does some pre-recorded, so it's good for her, and she needs, and that's the whole key. You're not going to really get into where YouTube wants to put you out there doing lives. So I will never grow, and I know that, like, until I get over my fear and just do it, and that's it.
I think doing that first video, you will find the absolute hardest pushing that live button and sending it thing. But like, I know that I've had a lot of self-doubt in my videos, and you know, even my last 2, which have gone really well, I've nearly scrapped them both. You know, my storage videos, I don't know, it's nearly at 2,500 views.
Yeah, and that's crazy. It's like, it just blows my mind.
It's quite a lot for a small channel. So I feel like I nearly scrapped that video because I was so paranoid about that it wasn't good enough, and you know, and even the other one the other day, I was like, oh, the audio is terrible and this is terrible, and you know, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. You
will find out people are 2 things. They're nosy, and they want to learn. Like, they're always looking for something to change. So one, when you do processes, they can be nosy because they can be in your space.
Yeah.
Right. So they get that itch, and they can find something maybe that they're not doing that you're doing, or maybe able to change something or learn something. So I think process videos are just hands down the best of the best of the best. I love learning how people do things, like and that's why people tune in to watch people like Nick or Lonnie pull their orders every day. I mean, on the surface, you would say, who would watch that? That's so boring to watch someone walk around with a stupid camera and pull orders. But it's fascinating because you're seeing how someone who's very successful, like Nick or Lonnie, does it. Yeah. You can learn things. You can literally learn so much from just their packing, their shipping, their anything, so much, anything. And Zahir with his poncho, like, who would have thought ponchos were like so 2020, you know, or the knowledge bomb he dropped on the whole world telling us to buy low and sell high. Yeah. I mean, that was just, it's been an amazing year with all this. It's crazy. What is going on here? I'm here seeing my name being, I always want to pro tip and hacks, right? Thanks for the tip. It is so boring and I love it. Someone's saying that we can all, I see, Aussie said that he was, what are we talking about?
I don't know. I told you I can't do the chat.
Oh, Vegemite. Oh, yeah. I wouldn't even try it. I wouldn't even try that.
But Bron's saying videos for a reason to help or bring the community together with fun. Yeah.
Driving your motive is the issue with it. Yeah, I think that is a big thing with people. A lot of people fizzle out because they don't realize that YouTube, you're working in a hole for a long time.
Yeah.
You are so behind. You're wasting. You feel like you're wasting your time. You're working for free, hours on end on YouTube, because it's not overnight. It takes a long time to get to a point where it pays you back. And
people don't realize as well, like the pre-recordeds, how much time goes into them. Like, they are time consuming. Like, you have to. You have to make them all. You do multiple cuts. Like, I know sometimes it'll just take me 10 times to say the intro. Like,
right.
Hey, my name's Mel. You know, like I just like.
But in all fairness, we're not going to notice the difference, and I know that. Like, I know no matter how many times I do it to get my perfect take, no one will notice the difference. But it's all in your head. It's all in my head and like in your head, because you just don't want to put that subpar content out in your head, but everyone else will think it's great.
I think it's time consuming as well, making them in iMovie. And if you've never done, like for me, I'd never done iMovie. I had to totally learn iMovie as well. You know, like, feel like I'm trying to learn eBay. I'm trying to learn iMovie. I'm trying to learn YouTube. I'm trying to read about what's the word? Analytics.
Analytics. Oh, okay.
I'm trying to read about analytics. I'm trying to like learn about hashtags and titles and descriptions, and like it's just like I'm just the last couple of weeks I have.
Yeah. But I know, and that's like Nick, he's laughing about it, like, and he's gotten over that. I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure he probably went through that in the beginning where he was more worried about getting it, you know, perfect, for lack of better words, or in his eyes perfect. But his stuff, he's gotten so comfortable now that he can just do it on the fly. I'm sure, like, you know, they look so smooth. Like when you watch the guys who've been doing it for so long, you can tell the smoothness is on a different level versus someone who's new. And you see all the jump cuts, you'll see all the, like, they look like a robot, like jumping all over the screen. Like that's like drives me batty, because they're trying to cut out and piece together all the bad and, you know, good. Where when you watch like someone who's been doing it so long, like I said, Nick or Lonnie, you don't see any jump cuts. You'll just see just straight smooth video. And that's where I want to be, but I know I can't be. And so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. And it definitely takes a level of being comfortable, I think, in front of the camera, which has been one of the biggest, hardest things for me, I think. And probably he'll be back in coming forward at first, you know, just, you know.
Can't. I just thought Tracy had Tourette's. Oh,
wrong.
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah.
You wait until basically say you're a liar until you show your eBay store for proof of what you're saying. Store kids come out. Yeah, I mean, this is really hard. And like, I think even for me in the last couple of weeks, like I actually moved my store to out of stock because I just had so many people like trying to constantly look what I was sold. And, you know, like as someone who has been stalked in the past, you know, that was kind of just not sitting right with me. Like I felt like all under this extra added pressure that people were checking in daily to see what I was selling. So I think I don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's mind blowing that people waste so much time like stalking your stores, and then they wonder why their businesses are failing, because it happens here too. Like so bad, it's so crazy.
So much time looking at everyone else's stores instead of just focusing on their own. Like I don't follow a single store on eBay with my accounts. Like I'm not interested in really knowing what everyone else is doing. Like I've got my own business to run, and like I think it's good to be you know the market and stuff, but there's a difference between getting consumed with looking what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, there's no time. I mean, it's just there's no time for that. I don't like people that I don't watch or have rubbed us the wrong way or me the wrong way. I don't waste a second ever going like to their channels to do anything, but they come to our channels all the time. Wait, people stalk YouTube stores? Yeah, I know, right? Because they message you your store name and say, I want to have a stalk. Wow.
Yeah, you know, people send messages. What's your eBay store? I want to stalk.
Ozzy Bargain Hunter. I've seen that name. I saw him in somebody's chat the other day. I forget.
I think mine.
No, I think he was in an American chat, like RVA Flips or somebody the other day. He's finding his way to America.
He's finding his way.
The boat.
Right. So anyway, I need to pee.
Yeah. That's an hour and a half of rambling, and we haven't taken a break, so I think we're good.
I had a few waters before I came on.
Oh, did you? Yeah. Well, I think there's no more questions. I think you did well. I think we can cut it.
We can cut it.
Ken says he's got to go trot. He's got the trots.
Fix Tommy's head yet.
No. That, a couple more sessions. But it does make I mean, everyone knows what's going through their mind, but it's a little weird when people say it like publicly, right? You know, you're just like, oh.
Oh, all right. That was a good chat. I was like, I'd been a bit like anxious before it. I was like, Tommy and I have like talked since like April last year, and I've never been live with him yet. So like, I think it's like if I'm going live with Braun on a Tuesday, I still get really nervous. Like, I think it's just.
You'll get nervous. I mean, you're still so new in lives. You'll get nervous for so long.
Maybe I should quit eBay and be a shrink.
Yeah. Thank you for being a brave snowflake. Oh God.
Their own shrink sometimes, but
look, Mel has to go to the toilet. She has the shits. You're never gonna live the shit story down now, are you? That's great. I love that. That cracked me up. I can't believe I can't believe that you interchange the word shit. That's like just there's a lot of words to be interchanged with shits, really.
I just couldn't believe. I was like, is he having me on? Is he pulling my leg? Like, does he really think that I'm telling him that?
Yeah. Kent says time to get the tank on live. Cernock, you think you could keep up with Cernock for an hour and a half?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I actually really like Cernock.
I know everyone does. Do you think you could you think you could have enough energy to roll with him for an hour and a half?
Yeah.
He is high strung, man.
He is. I learned so much from his chat the other day, and I went into that chat thinking, "Oh, this is just like rubbish for me. I'll just hang around in the chat and talk to everyone else while I was working." And then,
which one? The hat chat?
The hats, and then I started like as he started going, I was like started to get more interested, and then I'm looking at all these daggy hats that he was selling, and I was just like, what?
Daggy to swaggy, baby. That's the new thing, right? Kent, where's he at?
And then when he started talking about how he blows up balloons and shapes them, and I was just like, I was quite fascinated. I actually messaged him afterwards, and I was like, I really hope that you do like a pre-recorded on the difference in shaping like a round hat and your square panel hat. And I felt like I learned all this stuff about the hat. So I really do hope Cernock goes and
his channel, once he gets in his rhythm, like him and over the years, Tim, they got so much knowledge. They're going to crush it. Just their knowledge. They got it so much easier than a lot of people because they can make it with knowledge alone. They don't have personality is irrelevant when you have that much knowledge. I think it's just crazy.
Realistically, I think Cernock talked for 2 hours on hats.
We did 8.5 hours on my channel one night with vintage clothing, and I couldn't believe how fast it went because usually you feel it like it's and because he can go. Yeah, he can just go.
He knows so much.
And you're right, Ken. They have both. They do. I'm just saying their knowledge alone could carry them, but they have both, which is amazing. Like they're really good.
Yeah, he's definitely somebody link his channel in there because he's definitely worth a watch. And I just feel like he's so knowledgeable. He's helped me quite a bit on photography with the iPhone because I obviously don't use an iPhone and I was wanting to outsource some help. So you were helping me with that. Cernock was also sending me like videos of himself doing photos and tutorials and he just knows so much about old clothes. I actually sent him a photo yesterday of one of my old vintage like Charlotte Horn jackets, like because I just knew he'd appreciate it.
Yeah, I know. He's amazing. He is.
Yeah. So anyway, we might wind it up. I definitely bust in to go to the toilet.
Lobster's gonna go live anyway, I think.
Gonna go live. Okay.
When does he? I love it. He'll go live anytime.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? And he just sits in that. I don't know. Is it a storage unit or what's he sitting in?
His garage.
Oh, it's a garage. It's like this room that's like full to the roof of like stuff. Anyway.
Oh, he's good. All right.
But thanks for coming on and having a chat.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. It was weird to be over on this side, like.
Yeah, because you don't do that. I said to you after when you said yes, I said, I actually, now thinking of it, you don't actually do many like one-on-one chats with anyone. Like, and I know you don't like to be interviewed, and I was like, I'm not going to interview you. Like, we're just going to chat.
Yeah, it was good. It worked out well, I think. it worked out well.
Yeah.
You had a good, like, I think you had a good crowd. It felt, I mean, I didn't look at the numbers, but it looked like by the speed of the chat, you had a really good crowd. So you'll be able to tell, but.
Thank you everyone for coming in, and thanks to Tommy.
Yeah. Thank you guys. I'll see you in the next chat.